Hi there, BookTube. Book buddyathon starting. Hi there everybody. So it's the first day of Book Buddyathon and Matilda and me are sitting in bed. My husband is off running his obstacle coursey race and getting himself all fit and energetic. And we've just woken up. Excuse me. And we've just woken up and we're going to be doing some relaxing in bed for half an hour before we get dressed and go off to Matilda's horse riding class. So I'm going to be starting Endgame by James Frey and trying to get through as much as I can of that in the next half an hour or so. So fingers crossed, and I will check back in half an hour once I've done some reading. That's very nice. Hi guys, so I'm just checking in and I've read now for about an hour. I'm up to page 67 in Endgame. We're doing 100 pages a day, so I'm well past the halfway mark on that, which is brilliant. And so I have no doubt that I can read my 100 pages or the rest of this today. I've got 70 pages of Gone with the Wind to read today, and then I might even fit in a little bit of another book, who knows, so we shall see. But so far this is really fast. The chapters are like 2 or 3 pages long. There's loads of pictures interspersed in here which breaks up the pages, although we don't really know what they mean yet. There seems to be sort of 12 characters and we are seeing a lot of those characters already, their points of view, and there has been these meteors that have crashed, 12 meteors that have crashed, and 12 players in what is Endgame who are have these sort of stones that they put into part of a meteor and it creates some sort of map or something, and then each of them is on some sort of quest to be the final one to complete the game in order to save humanity in their race or something, or their bloodline. So it's quite interesting so far, but we'll just see how it goes. Hi guys, so I've just done a reading sprint. It's still the first evening of Book Buddyathon and I have finished my first book. I finished When Everything Feels Like the Movies by Raziel Reed. It was 161 pages. I went into this with a little bit of trepidation because I'd heard via Goodreads there was mixed opinions. It didn't have terribly good ratings. But this really touched and moved me. It made me cry, which hasn't happened often recently, and I think it's one of those books that really promotes discussion. It says on the front that it's inspired by a true story, which is just, I mean, when you think about what happens in this book, Basically, the story is about a boy called Jude, or Judy, because he likes to dress as a woman. He is gay, definitely, and transsexual, I would say. And we follow him at school. He's very confident, flamboyant. It's written like he's you know, a flamboyant movie star. He likes to think of himself playing a role and all the characters in the story, and it's his coping mechanism with getting through some terrible things in his life. He's got a terrible home life. He lives in what seems like quite a poor area. His school life is just horrible with taunts and verbal and physical abuse, and there is numerous references to drugs and sexual acts, and it's very, very graphic. There's lots of swearing in this, so be warned if those are triggers for you. And but it was a really powerful story for me. And Jude isn't a particularly likeable character because of his coping mechanisms, but I felt his desolation and I just felt so much for him. I can't put into words. I haven't got coherent thoughts about it yet because I've only just finished it, but I really, really enjoyed this, and yeah, I'm going to give it 4 stars. I just thought it was really, really good. Very graphic, as I say, and it is aimed at children, which I think, it's each to your own what you think your children can handle. So, yeah. So that is my first book down for Book Buddyathon, and this was the book that I wanted to read just because. Hi everyone, so it's the end of day 2 of Book Buddyathon. I am again without makeup in my pyjamas, and I've got sore lips because it's got really hot here, and as soon as it gets hot and the aircon is on in the car, I'm in and out of the aircon, and everything just goes to pot. But less about that. Today was a busier day than expected. I ended up reading all morning. Well, my husband took Matilda swimming, but then we all went out for lunch together and spent the afternoon together, which was really lovely because we haven't done that for ages. However, I managed to read quite a lot when I got home, and then once Matilda's been in bed, I was just been reading and doing lots of sprints. So I have now finished Endgame. Which is my buddy read with Sam, and it was really disappointing. Neither of us really enjoyed this. It was very confusing, and there was a number of different points of view, and I never really was 100% on top of the story. And a point that Sam made, which I think was really well made when we were talking, is that they just assumed a lot of stuff, that you knew a lot of things about the stuff that was going on, and I think they were unfair assumptions to make, and often we were left confused, not really knowing what was going on, why certain actions had taken place. It was just really disappointing, unfortunately, and I've given it 3 stars, but part of me wants to lower it to 2 stars. I definitely won't be carrying on with the series, it just wasn't for me. So yeah, not a good one, unfortunately, but thankfully it was a really quick, easy read, so that was a bit of a plus. And then I decided that I was going to have a shift in my TBR, and I didn't really want to read, or I wasn't sort of compelled to read the book that I'd picked with purple on the cover, which is Sam's favourite colour, which is one of the challenges, and so I was really wanting to pick up this particular book, and it has got purple on the cover. It is an ARC copy, but it has purple on it. That is the actual cover. This comes out in June, I think it's the 30th of June, and it's broken me. This was a 5-star read for me. I cried from beginning to end. I read it in one sitting. It was just a highly emotional read. Now, Lisa Heathfield, who wrote Paper Butterflies, wrote a book called Seed, which I quite liked and read last year. It was sort of a cult book, set in a cult, and I think I gave that on 4 stars, and I quite enjoyed it, but this was just a step up. It's about a girl called June who is living with her father, her stepmother and her stepsister. Her stepmother abuses June in the worst possible ways, force feeding her and making her wet herself in public, and terrible things that June never tells anyone about, outside of obviously her stepmother and her stepsister know, because her stepsister is forced to join in as well. Her father doesn't know, it's all done secretly, and she's too scared to say anything, and when she does try to say stuff, it doesn't come out properly, and it's never discovered, until one day she meets a young boy called Blister, and they form a friendship, and we follow the story from there. June is also highly bullied at school, so she doesn't have anywhere or anything that is happy in her life. Her mother has died, which is why she's living with her father and stepmother, and so Blister is her only solace from all of that is going on in her life. And the consequences of the things that go on, I'm going to cry in a minute, the consequences of the things that go on in her life lead to certain actions. And yeah, this book just made me cry for a number of reasons. I cried because I was so angry, I cried for June, and I just cried for the situation and for what happens and the repercussions. And this is terrible. This was 5 stars, and if you feel like you can read it emotionally, there were times when I wanted to put it down because I didn't think I could cope. But something in this book hit a nerve for me, and yeah, phenomenal read, 5 stars. So glad that I picked this one up. And it just goes to show, when I was talking in my TBR video, there is always a book that's calling to me my shelf, and this one has been calling to me, and I've picked it up and put it down and not read it a number of times, and this was the right time, and it's a really good book. Anyway, I can't take any more reading tonight after that emotional book, so I am going to be watching a little bit of iZombie and watching some YouTube videos before I go to sleep. So I'm 3 books down and 2 books to go, and I'm feeling pretty positive and I'm really excited, so let's see how the week goes. Bye, see you tomorrow. Hi guys, so I feel like I'm destined to do this whole vlog in my pyjamas with no makeup on, but it seems to be the time that I'm vlogging is just before going to bed, so I wanted to catch you up with today. Today is Tuesday, so it is day 4, the end of day 4 of Book Buddyathon, and I've completed Endgame, and Paper Butterflies, and When Everything Feels Like the Movies. So that's 3 books, and obviously I'm going to try and read 5. And so today I was having a bit of a problem. I didn't want to pick up the book that I had picked for my book with my buddy's letter first initial in it, and so I was looking around trying to decide what to pick up, and one really caught my eye. Now the title doesn't have Sam's S in it, but the author's name begins with an S, so I'm counting it because I was feeling really slumpy and I really needed it. So I picked up The Moonlight Dreamers by Siobhan Curran. Now this was sent to me by the publisher. It's a proof copy and it doesn't come out until July, but it just sounded really interesting and quite a light-ish read, which is what I was feeling. So the book is written by the co-author and editorial consultant to Zoella's book Girl Online, which I found interesting to begin with, and it's about 4 young girls. They're all very different to each other, but they all need people to share their dreams with. They don't have many friends, don't have big friendship groups, and it's about how they end up coming together and forming this group called the Moonlight Dreamers, and it's about them learning about each other, helping each other get through some difficult times in their teenage years, and I just really enjoyed it. It was a really easy read. I read it all today, and it's, you know, it's a good 350 pages, but it was just such a fast and fun and easy read, and I really liked the way that Siobhan had tackled the different topics that come up in this, and it was just a nice read, and so I'm going to give it 4 stars. I did really enjoy it. So when this comes out, I definitely recommend picking it up if you like YA, contemporary, something with a really good friendship, and not a massive plot heavy in romance. There is romance in there, but it's not a major factor in the plot. The major factor in this plot is about the 4 girls and their relationship together, which I thought was really nice and refreshing. So I only need to read 1 more book and I've got a few days, but the only book I needed to read is Codename Verity, and that is the book that Sam picked from the 3 that I'd given her the option for, and I just don't want to pick it up. I've got 150 pages in and I'm just really not enjoying it. So I texted Sam and had a chat to her, and I told her that I'm going to DNF that one, and so I sent her a picture tonight of a few books and asked her to pick one. And so the book that she's picked for me to replace that one with is one of my library books. It's called Relativity by Antonia Hayes, and then if I finish that will be my Book Buddyathon challenges completed, and then it will just be reading as much as I can for the rest of the Book Buddyathon. So I will catch up with you again tomorrow. Hi guys, so I'm checking in. It is the end of day 6 of Book Buddyathon, and it's been a good day. The last day I read Relativity by Antonia Hayes, and I finished that yesterday evening on the end of day 5. I gave this one 3 stars in the end. It was a really good book and I really enjoyed it. It just didn't wow me and it didn't give me that emotional connection that I really like. It's the story of Claire and her son Ethan, and when Ethan was 4 months old, his father was convicted of shaking him and putting him in hospital, and we are now following Claire, and Ethan is 12 years old, and there's we're following their life and how it's sort of progressed since that time. Ethan is really very clever, and he's really into physics and the stars, and he knows a lot about those things, which is really interesting to see that type of genius child, which I found a really interesting idea. And we see both him and his mother, and then also his father Mark, and the different things that have happened to them in their life as repercussions of what happened when Ethan was a baby. Like I said, I think the reason that I can't rate this any higher is because I just didn't have that emotional feeling behind it, but it was a good story. I picked it up from the library, and this fulfills my challenge of a book that Sam picked for me. So I had finished, as of the end of day 5, all 5 books for the book buddyathon. I'd met all the challenges, I'd completed it, and so I just thought I would just pick up things that I quite fancied reading as and when. So I have today picked up Private Eye. This is by Brian K. Vaughan, Marcus Martin and Munista Vincenti. I love this. I really loved the artwork in this, and I really loved the premise of the story. It's set in Los Angeles in sort of 2079, and one day everyone's put all of their things in the cloud, and the cloud has burst, and everyone's private information has been spread around, and anybody that's done anything or been bad or had these sort of secret things going on, it's all been sort of put out in the world. And so everything has sort of evolved since then, and people are putting on masks and having secret identities. So there's no superhero powers in this. It's about people putting on masks and having secret identities so that they can live their lives and do those secret things as different people incognito, so to speak. And we're following one character who is called P.I., and he goes around doing things like finding out if your husband's cheating on you, or looking into the death of someone, and he gets involved in a plot, and that's all I'm going to tell you. And it's really good. I really love the artwork in this. The storytelling is Brian K. Vaughan. It's brilliant, and I definitely recommend this one, and it's definitely one that will look great on my shelf and that I will be reading again. So I ended up giving this one 4 stars. It didn't wow me as much as I was hoping, but it was definitely a really good read, and I'm really pleased that I've got it for my shelf. Hi everyone, so this is the final day of Book Buddyathon, and I've really enjoyed it. I've just been totting up the number of pages that I've read this week, and it is 2,629. Now, before we all get a bit, whoa Eleanor, that's a lot of pages, 500 of those pages were a graphic novel, so I read them very quickly. So about 2,100-ish pages was actual book, and 490 of those pages were my Gone with the Wind pages that I was reading every day. But even so, I'm really proud of the amount I've read this week. However, it has now exhausted me, and I have not read anything today. Oh no, that's a lie. I finished my pages for Gone with the Wind, but other than that, I haven't really picked up much. However, I have read one short story from this collection, which you may have noticed from a haul that I did a while ago. It's Granta Magazine's issue 127, and it's Japan, and I've read one of the short stories in this so far, and I loved it so much that I have now ordered 3 or 4 more Granta Magazine issues that looked interesting to me, because I'm really enjoying this and hoping to discover some more authors. So I'm really pleased that I picked this up. So I've had a really fun week. I hope everyone else has enjoyed the readathon, and check out the giveaway video for details on who won the giveaway. And yeah, I will see you
in my next video, and I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone else's wrap-ups and hearing how everyone else's week's got on. Bye for now, BookTube.